Jordan Foley here from the Jack and Strong video series, TotalFitnessSolutions.ca. Going to do another question that I got from a buddy of mine, Carl Erickson. Carl has an athletic background, basketball, volleyball, plays some competitive rugby now, and obviously does some lifting to augment that. Carl's question is as follows. Like you mentioned in one of the warm-up videos, I've really had to move to a lot more anti-extension, anti-rotation type of stuff to deal with a back problem, but wondered how you've worked around the rest of the workout as well. He goes on to say that he's had to cut out deadlifts and regular back squats, focusing more on box and front squats, and really tone down overhead pressing weight. He said further thoughts or disagreements. So I'm going to speak to my experience. Obviously with back problems there are a lot of specifics, so I'm going to keep it somewhat general, and because I can't see Carl's issue, I can't see everyone else's issues, and I'm just going to go with some recommendations based upon what I did to work around my back problem. First of all, in your warm-up, make sure that it's very extensive, and make sure you really open up the hips, work on hip mobility, and include some glute activation and midsection work. And go right back to the simple stuff, because you need to re-educate your body of how to stabilize your spine. So go right back to your basic planks, your side planks, and variations on those. I'd work right up to the planks till you can hold them for about a minute, and then I would work on making those a little bit more difficult by moving the limbs or adding some sort of instability, that type of thing. The other thing is you need to make sure that you're actually in neutral spine alignment as opposed to being overextended. So for your planks in the warm-up and for your glute exercises, make sure your glutes stay tight throughout. You'll notice that you can hold a plank all day, and then if you actually are honest about keeping those butt cheeks clenched together, 30 seconds is going to have you shaking like a leaf in the wind. Okay? So in the warm-up, make sure you include those things. Open up the hips, glute activation drills, whether it's X-band sidewalks, whether it's standing glute marches, glute bridges, double leg, single leg, and then do some midsection work, some basic planks, some basic side planks. Once I did that activation work, for me what I did next, I did a single leg exercise with very little weight, one that generally was operating through an extended range of motion. So high box step ups, or Bulgarian split squat with the front leg elevated, reverse lunge with your front foot on a box, that type of thing. Then I did a hip hinge, something very basic. A good morning with just a 45-pound bar, RDL with a 45-pound bar. Back extension, band good morning, very simple stuff, a pull through. Again, you're going right back, educating yourself how to do these things again. And then the other thing that I did was another midsection move there. Okay, I would include some more planks or side planks at the beginning. And for that, I used to do 1 or 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps. So between your mobility, your glute activation, your midsection work, then your single leg, your hip hinge pattern, and additional abdominal work, this used to take me about 30 minutes to warm up. Then I would work into a squat variation. If it was my lower body focused day, I focused on front squats, and I made sure that my technique was perfect and that I was maintaining a neutral spine, that I was bracing really hard. If it was an upper body focused day, I still did squats, but I did back squats, and I did them light for sets of 5 to 10 reps. And for me, I started off right back at 135 pounds. And the reason why I did that was because I found that the squat is a great evaluator, and also it can be a great builder of mobility and functional stability. So if you start right back at the beginning with something that's very light, for that person, you can work through those issues in a very functional way. For some people, that might be a bodyweight squat and making sure the mechanics are straight up. Then you can move into a goblet squat. Then you can go to a back squat. But I still encourage you to squat in every workout, albeit it might be very light. Okay. As far as working around the deadlift issue, Carl, I made sure to get really strong, or relatively strong anyways, compared to where I was at, with the front squats and the back squats, and then I introduced rack pulls. And I started right above the knee. Okay, it was probably about 20 inches, and for me, I made it so that I could pull 405 for 5 reps, before I moved the bars down. So I worked up to a couple sets of 5 at 405. Then I moved down just below the knee, which for me is about 17, 18 inches. I worked up to, I can remember one day I did it with Paul when I was visiting at Christmas time. I worked up to 405 for 8, and everything looked fine. The mechanics was fine. Then I moved it down mid-shin again for me, which is about 14, 15 inches. Worked up again in the 400-pound range for sets of 5 to 8. And then I dropped the bar to the floor and started working up in sets of 5 right from 225. Started at scratch again and worked my way up to my last cycle of deadlifts. I worked up to a double at 528. Obviously nothing impressive compared to what I was doing before, but it takes some time, and I think that's an intelligent way to do it. That progression is going to take everyone different amounts of time, and just make sure that you're training around the issue and you're training what's trainable. So get strong on your front squats. Do those once or twice a week. Reintroduce the back squats. Do those so that they're pain-free. There might be some discomfort, but that's fine. Gradually work the weight up into those. Once you can get the strength up on the front and back squats, introduce your rack pulls. Make sure as accessory work you're doing plenty of RDLs, good mornings, back extensions, pull-throughs. And for all of that stuff, especially when you're working around a back issue, I'm going to steal this from Jim Wendler, do what you can to get the most out of 135, is what he said. So for me, I used to do all kinds of heavy good mornings, and it turned into a good morning squat hybrid or whatever it was. So for a lot of people, it's fine to be doing your RDLs, your good mornings, 95 pounds, 115, 135, 155, whatever. Just make sure you're getting the work in, okay? You're feeling the deep stretch in the hamstrings, you're maintaining a neutral spine, you're initiating the drive upward with your glutes, and you're really clenching those glutes at the top. Okay, I hope this helped Carl and anybody else that's trying to work around some back issues. Obviously, make sure you're cleared to go back to exercise and the issue's been taken care of. In the warm-up, to recap, focus on your hip mobility, activate those glutes, activate the midsection, do a small circuit to get some accessory work over with and to continue to warm up the body. Include single leg exercise, some hip hinging and additional abdominal midsection work. Get the front squat strong, get the back squat strong. Start off with rack pulls and work the height down over time, and make sure you're strengthening up that back with some truly functional stuff like RDLs, good mornings, pull-throughs, back extensions, so that you can continue to bulletproof that spine. Okay, Carl, if you have any other questions, hit me up back however you want, really. You have a lot of ways to get in touch with me. Jordan Foley, Jacked and Strong video series, TotalFitnessSolutions.ca.